upped my involvement and engagement with the Bisbee Science Lab very happily. And through that have been getting to know folks there better and helping to support their mission and vision and strategic plan, which leads me into introducing this wonderful new person, if you guys have not met yet, Amy Estivas. And Amy is the face and the person of the Bisbee Science Lab now. So when you go there, that is a real human being that's out front and making things happen. Amy is originally from Connecticut. And she has originally a Bachelor of Arts degree in environmental and agricultural science from in Miami, Florida. She spent quite a few years and time woofing around the United States and maybe even internationally. If you're not familiar with WOOF, that's Willing Workers on Organic Farms. It's a volunteer connection thing that you can do all around the world and work on farms. And originally, Amy was here kind of as a snowbird in Cochise County in Connecticut, and now has grown some of these long tap roots that the mesquite trees have, and she is becoming a full-time Cochise County resident here, and has been involved with the Bisbee Science Lab for over 2 years as a volunteer, but now is the program coordinator at the lab, and like I said, is the real life, flesh and blood right there for the public to see and engage with and to keep all of these great things moving forward. Amy also is working on a master's degree in agricultural education at the U of A and is now a full-time resident of Bisbee. So take it away, Amy.
Yeah, thank you so much, Seth. And thank you all so much for coming. I really appreciate it. And I'm so glad to have the community interest in this program. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what the Bisbee Science Lab is in general. And then I would love it if we could each just take a minute just to say your name and what community you're here to represent. So again, my name is Amy. I live here in Bisbee, and the Bisbee Science Lab is a STEM education nonprofit that began a few years ago to improve scientific literacy in the Cochise County community. Right now, we have 3 rooms here at a decommissioned middle school. We have a virtual reality lounge, we have a tinker space, and we have an exhibit space. I can just move this around a little bit to show you our VR lounge was designed by our wonderful high school interns, which is wonderful. And we just recently opened up an outdoor learning center to provide students with a space to come and do their schoolwork, study, meet with peers in a COVID-friendly manner. So we've got a few different things going on. Sky Island Steam Express is just one component of what we do. But that was just a brief introduction of the Science Lab. Why don't we all go ahead and just say your name and the community you're here to represent. You can start.
You might have to call on him, Amy, to organize that a little bit.
Got it. Well, Dan raised his hand, so let's start with Dan.
Yeah, I'm retired science teacher at Tombstone, and I kind of represent Tombstone, but I've been part of the Rural Innovation Council here in Cochise County for RAIN. And I just love science and want to see people involved. So that's where I'm at.
Awesome. So Tombstone?
Yes, yes.
Cool. Okay. Seth already introduced himself. Let's go, Anne.
Hi, I'm from Huachuca City, and I represent Huachuca City Community Garden. I'm a retired biochemistry professor, and I've lived in this area for about 14 years.
Wonderful. I know it says Karen, but Jim?
Hi, Jim Hirschauer. I'm representing Pierce in the Pierce Sunsites area. I live in Wilcox, been here for about 20 years.
All right, thank you. Amity?
Hey, so I'm the director of the Cochise County Library District. I think my camera's frozen, but I'm here. And I don't permanently have that look on my face. It's temporary. So we have rural branch libraries in Bowie, Alfreda, Portal, Sunazona, and Sunsites. So although my office is in Bisbee, I'm here with an eye to those rural communities.
Hey, thank you, Amity. Genevieve?
Oh, you're muted, Genevieve.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent, thank you. My name is Genevieve Landman. I go by Jen for short, and I am with the Wilcox Theater and Arts as the STEAM program manager. It's nice to meet all of you.
All right, nice to have you. Catherine?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Hello. I'm Catherine.
Hello.
I work over at Kirchner Cavern State Park, which has worked with Bisbee Science Lab in the past. So we're really excited.
Awesome. Robert?
I'm Robert Weisler with the Friends of the San Pedro River. I live in Hereford, and we have an education program that brings school kids from Sierra Vista, Palominas, Tombstone, and other local school districts down to the river for science and appreciation of the natural features of the river.
Nice. Love the San Pedro. Ty?
Hi, so I'm in the truck for just a moment until I make it the rest of the way home. I represent Wilcox High School, and I like to work with Ms. Bosmate, trying to help her out with the middle school programs as well. I'm actually also involved with another program called CSO, and so anything I get out of here, I can share with that network. A lot of our Cochise County schools have kind of fallen off because this is a brutal year and other reasons. But we've actually brought Morenci into the fold this year, so I can share information from here to there as well.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. And then I think there's just two more, Thoda and Etta, who are actually both, Seth mentioned I might be the face a lot of times for the science lab, but Thoda and Etta are the brains behind the organization often, them and Melanie. So Etta, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Hi, I'm Etta Kralovec, and I know a bunch of you. Hi, Dan. It's really nice to see you. Hi, Amity. Anyway, but I am the chairperson for the board for the Bisbee Science Exploration and Research Center, and we're very thrilled to have gotten a grant from RAIN to launch this mobile lab project. So I want to thank Sep and Amy for getting the ball rolling on this. And you got a great group of people here. So thank you all for coming, and we're really excited.
Awesome. And then Thoda.
Hi, you guys. I'm Thoda Kalo, and my background is actually in museums and exhibits. I'm on the Bisbee Advisory Board and just love to try and help as much as I can.
All right, thank you. All right, did everyone go? Everyone get a chance? Okay, cool. All right, well, again, I'm so glad to have everyone here and representing so many different communities within Cochise County. We want to bring this project to even our most rural residents. I'll go ahead and I have a little presentation that I'd like to show you about what the project is and what we hope to do, and then we can move on from there. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. There we go. Can you all see it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I'll go ahead and play this. Okay, so you're all here to talk about our mobile lab project, which is Sky Island STEAM Express, which is a fun science enrichment opportunity for your Cochise County community. And as Etta may have mentioned, it's made possible by the Bisbee Science Exploration and Research Center, which is the overarching nonprofit that the Bisbee Science Lab falls underneath. The Rural Activation and Innovation Network, which some of you are a part of, and the Institute of Museum and Library Services. So what is Sky Island STEAM Express? What is this project that we have going on? So STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics, for those of you that might not know. But Sky Island STEAM Express is an interactive mobile science lab. It's a collection of fun, engaging STEAM activities, a rotation of locally sourced science exhibits, a collaboration between artists, scientists, and the community, an enrichment opportunity, and a chance for participants to learn about different scientific topics in an engaging way. So it's a lot of different things rolled in one, but essentially what it is it's science exhibits that will travel to you and offer up opportunities for students and kids in your community to have a fun, interactive, educational experience. Why do we need Sky Island STEAM Express? So a lot of you are educators in the Cochise County community, or you're involved in education in some sort of way. So you know about a lot of the challenges that we face in this area. So what we're trying to do is to improve educational outcomes for students, to foster an interest in STEAM topics, to provide enrichment opportunities for rural students. So oftentimes our students, especially in the quieter parts of our county, don't have nearly as many opportunities as kids in other areas to engage in these kinds of topics in a fun way. So they're really lacking in that manner. And we really want to encourage the use of citizen science and public engagement. So we want to bring everyone into the fold to get them involved in the project and interested in using STEM and different scientific topics. We also want to help create a resilient educational network. So it's been really obvious this year that, the underlying flaws within our education system, I think, have been highlighted more, and our education systems have been stressed to their limits and even past their limits. So us providing this opportunity is trying to help create a network of resilient educational opportunities. So the students don't just have to rely on their school education or on enrichment opportunities through the library, but they can have even more. And we also want to showcase the work of local artists and scientists. So in Bisbee especially, Bisbee is a very artistic community, but there's artists all over Cochise County, and there's some wonderful scientists doing a variety of scientific research in the area. So we really want to showcase what those scientists have been doing and what our artists are capable of. So by providing this opportunity for exhibit development and bringing that around, we kind of give them an opportunity to engage in science and engage in art and engage with the community. So who funds Sky Island STEAM Express? So we are powered by grants and community partnerships. So the Bisbee Science Exploration and Research Center is responsible for the execution of the project. So we were given these two grants, one by the Rural Activation and Innovation Network and one by the Institute of Museum and Library Services. The grant from the Rural Activation and Innovation Network, which some of you are a part of, was for the funding of mobile lab materials, curriculum, and travel, things like that. So that money will fund the activities that go into the Sky Island STEAM Express. We also got a grant from the Institute of Museum and Library Services, and that grant is for the funding of locally sourced exhibits. So essentially what we do is we do a public call for the public to suggest exhibits, and then we fund the creation of those exhibits, and then we take them around the county. So we're funded by those two grants. So what we want to do is we want to visit your Cochise County community on a circuit. We would be bringing new exhibits from February to May, June to September, October through January, and again, February through May. So during each of these blocks, there will be a new exhibit that we'll be bringing around. And for each of those time blocks, we want to visit each of your communities. So we would like to coordinate with local community leaders, volunteers, and educators, which is all of you, and visit each of your communities at least once during each of these time blocks. We would also like to conduct pre and post surveys so that we have some data regarding what kids learned, and how well the program went and how we can improve. So this is a list of the communities that we would like to visit. We would start in Bisbee, which is where the science lab is located. But we want to visit Douglas, McNeil, Elfrida, Sunsites, Cochise, Wilcox, Bowie, San Simon, Benson, St. David, Tombstone, Hereford, Palominas, Naco, and Sierra Vista. So we want to make sure that we reach the students in each of these communities. So all of them are important. And I know that not each of these communities are represented here at this meeting. So if you have any contacts that might be interested in helping bring this program to their town that aren't here, that aren't represented, feel free to send this recorded video to them and just let them know that we're here and want to visit and want to coordinate with them. So we can be hosted at a few different sites. So we can be hosted at parks, schoolyards, libraries, fairgrounds, any place in your community that you think we could bring a van to and set up a bunch of tables. At the moment, we're preferring to be held outside. Consideration, so we want to be as safe as possible. But our first tour begins in February.
Yeah,
And
you know we're going to it.
this is a little information also about the kinds of exhibits that we'll be bringing. So our first exhibit is going to be based around pilot whalebones.
This isn't the Walmart we're going to, because this is just a grocery.
So
I'm going to the Dollar Tree.
Oh, that's right.
The Dollar, yeah.
so our first exhibit that goes
I'm very sorry to interrupt. It sounds like someone's voice is overriding and I keep dropping. Yeah, I keep losing the sound as well.
They're just limiting.
Sound is going in and out. Okay, I see.
Well, I think it has more to do with someone that's not muted and their sound is taking over.
Oh yeah, can we all make sure that we're muted? Let me go on gallery view so I can make sure everyone's muted. Okay, it looks like everyone is muted. So is that better? Can you hear me? Okay, did anyone miss anything that I might have said?
I'm really sorry. I think I missed the last slide, the map one.
Oh, that's okay. I'll go back. Okay, so this is just a map, a visual representation of all of the different communities that we want to visit. So you can see that we want to visit all of these different towns within Cochise County so that we reach even our most rural residents. Some of these sites, you know, maybe we could visit 2 in one day, depending on how we can coordinate with everyone, you know, and just depending. But we want to make sure that we visit each of these sites with each of our exhibits. So we're going to have 4 different exhibits over the next year and a half, each touring during a 3-month time block. And in those 3 months, we want to make sure that we hit each of those towns. Yes, Dan. I cannot hear you.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, you said AP right there. Are we going international with this too? Or are we just staying within Cochise County?
For the moment, we're just staying within Cochise County. So we will certainly be visiting Douglas, but AP is not currently on the list. That's not to say that I wouldn't want students, you know, that might live in AP to be able to come when we do have an exhibit in Douglas, but for the moment we're staying in the US. Okay, cool. So like I said, we can be hosted at all of these different places, or if you have an idea of somewhere in your community, you know, a community building or something that might work as well to be hosted at, that would also work. But we'll have 4 different exhibits over the next year and a half. So the first one is based around a pilot whale. And these exhibits, it's worth noting, will also be involving curriculum that have to do with the next generation science standards. So while the exhibit might include some pilot whale bones, it'll also be about biological structures and functions. And same goes down the line. Our next exhibit is going to be based around agrovoltaics, but it's also going to have a next generation science standard backing. So that way we can help make sure that your students are getting a lot out of it and that you might be able to connect it back into the curriculum that's already going on at your school. And so that the kids are receiving a more consistent message about STEM topics. So those are the two that we have planned. Our themes for the last two exhibits are to be determined. So we haven't yet put out themes for those ones, but the first two are right there. Do you have a question, Dan?
Yeah, I know that in before we were funding this project, we did discuss some of the other ideas that you may have for these exhibits and things. Do you have any idea right now what you're maybe leaning towards?
Well, I can say that I'm especially interested in environmental and agricultural scientific topics. And I would really like to bring programs that are relevant to those topics to the community. But we haven't considered concrete plans for those two yet. And that would be beginning in next October. So right now we just have the pilot whale and the agrovoltaics. All right. Okay.
Do you mind if I jump in here?
Yeah, you have a question?
Yeah, and I apologize if I missed this somehow or if I'm getting ahead of you. I'm trying to envision this a little more clearly. Is this just demonstrations that you're bringing to show, or is there going to be interactive components?
That's a great question. So it will be a combination. So there will be exhibit materials, but mostly it'll be focused on the interactive component. So these will be activities.
Okay.
Yeah. And the specifics will depend on the exhibit that we put together. But they will definitely be interactive. Yeah, the interactive component is the biggest part.
Okay.
Yes,
And
Dan.
any,
Go ahead, Ty.
I'm sorry, is there a key age group that's targeted at? Are you going pretty broad? Are you going?
We're trying to hit a broad age group. So I would say K through 12 is our age group. So broad. Yes, Dan.
Are you seeking instructors or professionals in terms of involving them with presentations, or are we going to each school and having someone from each school, for example, give the presentations for the exhibits and interactive?
I'll get into that in the next couple of slides, but essentially it's going to be myself and some science lab volunteers that will be bringing it. But we're definitely going to be looking for volunteers to help act as facilitators. So that brings us to what do we need from you? So essentially we need community partners for a few different things. So we need community partners to help us determine the when, where, and how of getting to your Cochise County community. So we need people to act as points of contact for their town, which would help us coordinate site visits, determine a venue, a time, a location, help advertise within their community, making sure that people know that we're going to be there, whether that be letting teachers and community leaders know, handing out flyers, however your network works in your community. Ensure participants. So if you are an educator, bringing your students out there or working with local teachers to make sure that students attend. So making sure that we have that involvement. Conducting pre and post surveys and questions. So we'll be giving those out to our volunteers and our community partners prior to our visits so that they can give them out to participants. Organize volunteers to help with setup, execution, and takedown. So this is kind of what you were asking about, Dan. So while we are going to have myself and perhaps an intern come to each of these site visits, we're definitely looking for people to be at each location we visit to help us set up and to help us organize the kids and to help us make sure that our activities run smoothly. And also to help us clean up once we're done. And then to help provide educational achievement data. So we want to know if participation in this program helped the kids either, you know, in their attitudes or in their actual completion of schoolwork or their ability to understand different STEM topics. Are there any questions in particular about what we're asking for from our community partners? Yes, Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi. Hi. So I wanted to know that I have asked if the Bisbee lab can come down to Wilcox on February 11. I don't know if you know about that.
On February 11th?
Yeah. Is it
Yes.
already scheduled?
Yes, it is already scheduled. Yeah, actually, so
Yeah.
Rebecca, Rebecca and
Yeah.
I have actually already scheduled the first site visit of the Sky Island Steam Express for February 11th. So,
So I was wondering if one day would be enough for the lab to for the kids from the elementary and middle school and high school to visit, or is it possible to extend it like over a couple of days, or is it possible to postpone it just in case the school says we are not ready by February 11th?
yeah, so that's a great question. I think that's something that we can do on a case-by-case basis. So if you think you're going to be able to bring all of your students through the activity and you need us to be there multiple days, then I think that's something that we can coordinate on a community by community basis. So that brings us, you know, we need all these things from community partners. What we're going to need to do is we're going to need to set up kind of town by town meetings with myself to determine how to make this happen. So, and that's something that we can each do as it suits us. But yeah, the tour begins in February. So the sooner the better. If there might be a time that you know might work best for you, or a date that you know your community is maybe already having a STEM event, or maybe we can hitchhike off of a fair or something like that.
We usually, last year I had hosted a STEM night at our school in January, and that's what my hope was for this year, but I'm not sure. I had a word with my principal and he says, just in case, we need to postpone it.
Okay. And we know that COVID is going to be a barrier generally. So we're willing to be flexible in our site visits. If your school closes or the other entity that we're supposed to be at closes or can't host us, we're willing to be flexible. That's okay. And you know, we're understanding with that. But yeah, coordinating multiple site visits over the course of a fair or a STEM event is definitely something we can talk about.
Thank you. That's it.
Okay. And then lastly, just would you like to help to bring Sky Island Steam Express to your community? Could you be our community liaison, or do you know someone that would? If so, let us know. We can start scheduling those meetings by community to determine when we should meet and when we can come visit you and how we can make that happen. Do any of you have more questions?
Well, at Wilcox, I'm just at Wilcox, we're already 3 of us on the call right now. Ty, me, and Jen. So, and honestly, we are super passionate about STEM.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we will. I'm sure that Ty will agree with me, and Jen. So will Jen. We just need to schedule a day, and we'll be there.
And make it happen. All right, great.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Great. So we can definitely schedule a meeting between the 3 of us to talk details about all of those things that we just talked about. But I do have you on our schedule for February 11th.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Dan, do you have more questions?
Yeah, what about, is there a chance that you could get us all this PowerPoint, and maybe I can approach some people in Tombstone School District. I'd like to maybe show it to a few people. So
Of course, yeah.
yeah, well, I think we need to make sure that we can get this video so that we can explain what exactly is going on. This is, you did a wonderful job, Amy. So yeah, if I could get that, I think I could start by maybe introducing what this is all about. I was on board with this from the minute I heard it. I know a lot of people were, so I'd like to be able to do that.
That's great.
Amy,
I can send all of you the PowerPoint, and I encourage you to share it with whoever you think might be interested, and bring them on board, so that we can get us out there to the communities we want to be in.
I think I can get you into Cochise as well.
That's awesome. Okay, I love to hear that. Cochise. All right. Where in Cochise?
Cochise Elementary.
Cochise Elementary. Okay.
Yeah, and maybe
There's only
Bowie
the
too.
one school.
Bowie too. Okay. Okay, that's great. I love to hear that.
So Anne mentioned in the chat that she would love to put a group together to talk about bringing the Sky Island Express to Huachuca City. And Huachuca City seems like a great destination for it.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Okay, yeah, I'm looking at the chat now, like to talk with you so we can get it to Huachuca City. Yeah, that would be great. And Anne, same thing. I'll go ahead and send you the PowerPoint so that you can share it with others, and we can go ahead and start setting up meetings. I am actually going to be visiting you, I know, next week to see the garden. Am I not, Anne?
Yes, you are. And you'll see that the garden and the library and the school are right next to each other. So it's a great location to have a meeting.
Yeah, that's perfect. I think that would be a good venue for us to come to, especially with things like the agrivoltaics, where I think it would very easily tie into things that you're doing at the garden.
I'd really like to see that one myself in Wilcox.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I would love to do is set up meetings with each of you for your community. And we can schedule all of our site visits at once. So we can schedule them far into next year. So for all 4 exhibit visits, if that works for you, if you know when might work that far ahead of time.
Yeah, so same thing Ms. Hirschauer just said. I think I need to sit down with you, if you don't mind, with you and with our principal to kind of get this across.
I would love to do that. And I'm fairly free next week. And then I'm going to be in Connecticut for 2 weeks at the end of this month, but I can definitely participate in Zoom meetings during that time.
Well, so to be honest, we're a little bit underwater at the moment. My principal is really struggling. And so what if we scheduled it for the very front end of January? And that would give us lead time before February.
That would be fine. Yeah.
Okay. I will lock, if you don't mind, then I'll lock it on her calendar and send you that date if you think that's all right. Okay. Thank you.
No, thank you. Please, all of you, feel free to speak to, I'll send you the PowerPoint and speak to whoever else you think might be interested. And then you can email me and we'll set up a date and time for a meeting to talk about our site visits.
Okay. Rebecca, from the chat, I think I'll just reach out to your principal and the elementary and probably our library.
Really super exciting to hear this conversation, Amy, and everybody online. Like, a passion of mine is to see STEM spread out and be accessible to all the rural communities in Cochise County. And just hearing the way you guys are talking is very exciting to me. And I know you have all sorts of other great resources. So I'm just sending you my enthusiasm.
Yeah. Oh, we're really excited to be offering this. You know, I was so excited when we got this grant, and I just think it's going to be such a great opportunity for everyone in Cochise County, for all of the students, especially, you know, I think now when education has been so difficult for so many of them, having to do it remotely. And of course, we're going to take a lot of precautions into account when we come to these different sites in terms of sanitation and masks and distancing. But I think really just having something tangible for these kids to do to improve STEM education is going to be really, really great. And I see that Melanie came on. I don't know if all of you know Melanie Green. Do you all know Melanie Green?
Yeah, yes, I've met her.
Yes. Okay. Well, she's like I mentioned Etta and Thoda being a lot of the brains behind the science lab, and then I said, and also Melanie. This is also Melanie, the brains behind the science lab. So, hi, Melanie.
Hi, Amy.
Let me see in the chat. Wonderful. Lifting it with me. Look at it. That's okay. Or at mod 3. Okay. So if it's all good with you, I am going to go ahead and send you the PowerPoint, and then we'll case by case set up those meetings. Does that sound good? Okay, and I'll send you a recording of this meeting as well. Does anyone have any more questions about the program or what we'll be doing or what we hope to do? No? All right.
Yeah. One more question, you know.
Dan.
Yeah, I think that it behooves us all of us that are really getting into this to maybe attend that very first site meeting, so that we can all grasp what's going to be happening or hope to happen.
Yeah, the first site visit.
Yeah, I think that we all should maybe. I know that working with Rain, that was a very important part of what we did, was when we had an event or something, that we all showed up and were able to view and take a perspective away with us about what's going on. That's just me.
I would love that, and I encourage you to. We had, like I said, we have our first site visit scheduled for February 11th in where was that? In Wilcox, I think. But I'll send out the details of that.
Wilcox Middle School.
Yes, Wilcox Middle School. Thank you. Which, like you said, might change if the school has to go into lockdown or anything like that. But what I'm doing is I'm creating a Google Sheet. I don't know if you all use Google Sheets, but I've been using a Google Sheet to start to schedule the site visits. And I can make that accessible to everyone as well, so that you can see where we'll be and when we'll be there, and everyone can know what we're up to. Okay, and you can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook. You can sign up for our newsletter on our website, and that would also give you up-to-date information about what we're doing. I think our Facebook and our Instagram would probably be the best to follow us on if you want the most up-to-date information about where we'll be, besides that Google Sheet. All right. Anything else? Any other questions, comments, concerns, ideas? No?
No,
All right. Well, I hope to see you all soon. Ty, did you have something to say?
no.
Okay. Well, I hope to see you all soon in our individual site meetings, and I'll be sending you all some more information.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you. I'll see you all soon.
Good to see everybody. Thank you.